Mikey, it looks like we're live. Good morning, Michael Knight, down here in beautiful Pasadena, California.
And good morning to you, Vinnie, in Seattle, Washington, where the weather is beautiful and the people are fabulous and the sports stories are always encouraging, except if your name is Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, well, and that's not a Seattle story, but that's a story that, boy, oh boy, I'll tell you. Um, y- for those who may not have seen this morning, the Masters champion Scotty Scheffler was headed to the PGA Championship, which is being held in Louisville, Kentucky. There
Louisville.
was a fatal accident on the road to that golf club, uh, 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 country club where they hold the thing, golf course. And so he seemed to get some kind of twisted out of shape when they wouldn't let him through.
He pulled to the right, drove on the medium strip, and to avoid the traffic, he pulled out of traffic, allegedly refused the instructions of a police officer who grabbed a hold of Scheffler's car and was dragged 10 feet or more.
10 yards, actually. Yeah.
Scheffler was removed from the car, arrested, and taken away. All that is alleged but undisputed, with witnesses talking about it, that he couldn't be bothered to wait in line after a traffic fatality. And what bothers me the most about this is ESPN's apology on his behalf, saying, quote, knowing Scheffler's commitment to God, his loyalty to his wife, and his emotional attachment to his new baby, we know that there couldn't be anything, that he couldn't have done anything wrong in this regard. They've apologized for him. They've provided him with a defense in lieu of the facts. They allegedly disregarded all the police reports in this matter and said that Scheffler's devotion to God is going to get him through this and prevents him from being charged with anything serious because in his heart he couldn't have done anything wrong.
So that's the trick these days is if you're devoted to God, you get a free pass for almost running over a police officer. Is that how it works?
That's precisely how it works, and in exactly that order and to that end.
Now, in Louisville,
ESPN should dismiss their commentators at the area wherever they just get two anchors who go on there laughing and scratching and do a better job without apologizing for an alleged criminal offense.
well, let me ask you this question. Um, Scotty Scheffler is a young, handsome, great golfer, rich guy, white guy, right?
He's a white guy.
He's a white guy. He's about as white as they come.
He's as
You
white
couldn't
in
get
his
much whiter than Scotty
not
Scheffler.
even at a golf tournament. You
He's
can't.
whiter than I am. He's
He's
whiter than you are.
he's far whiter than both of us put together.
Considering the history of the Louisville Police Department, who has had more than one incident of busting into somebody's house and shooting them in bed or in their apartment.
Maybe we got the wrong number. Maybe we got the wrong address. But we got there and we dispatched the individual. We
Right.
shot him.
They seem to have an ability to shoot at black people. Um, how long do you think Scheffler would have lasted dragging a cop down the road if he were African American?
He probably would have died in custody, and there would have been an investigation. But it was a good shoot. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. It was a legal, a righteous shoot.
So that's my first problem with the whole thing as I read into it this morning. My second problem is that he was back out on the course for his tee time.
He was released without bail.
No harm, no foul. Now, if I'm not even going to say a black person, okay? I'm just going to say if another person who was not a professional golfer had done that same crime, would they have been released in time to go to work? Do
The
you
funny
think?
thing was, he didn't even miss his tea time.
Yeah, that's what I said. It was there for his tee time. And on top of it, And it's not only ESPN. I just heard some clown on CNN putting a line out there that, oh, he's a good man, he's a Christian, he's a this, he's a that, he's got a new baby. Like, that's supposed to make me feel sorry for him. I
That's
know
a
lots
def-
of guys with new babies that are idiots. Jeez, good God. I mean, Donald Trump has a new baby and he was banging some porn star while his wife was home with the new baby. So don't give me this new baby stuff. Now, I don't know Scotty Scheffler. I don't know if he's a good guy, a bad guy. Never talked to the guy, never met him, nothing.
but he's a golfer, so how privileged and how much of a prick do you think he is?
Well, I don't know if he's a prick or not. Maybe it is. Maybe it was a stupid mistake. Maybe it was he was late for work and he jumped on his shoulder and he held up his credential and said, "Hey, do you know who I am?" Which usually is good for a rap in the face anyway. Um, and
How do you accidentally drag a cop 10 yards
yeah,
without
see,
meaning to?
that's see at the point where the cop says you can't go through. That's the time to put your car in park,
And cool
open
your
up the
heels.
door, get out, and say, "Well, excuse me, officer, I noticed something going on up here, but I'm Goobledygots, and I have to go up to the Goobledygots Golf Club because I'm supposed to tee off. Is there any way that you can get me around this?" Like most normal people who have that kind of access would do. If you were going to the ballpark and there was an accident, we had to be there for the first pitch or something like that, you'd either stay in your car and shut up and call somebody and say, "I'm going to be late," or you would get out of if you saw a cop, you would pull up next to the cop, roll down your window and say, "Listen, I'm ta 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 ta, and I got to be there for the first pitch, yada, yada, yada." And the guy would say, "Well, let me see what I can do for you." Or, "I'm sorry, I can't do anything for you. You got to go that way." And then you go, and you go that way.
But I have a new baby and I'm a Christian.
So you still got to go that way. You would. I'm not saying you'd be happy about it, but you're
Well,
not the king
first
of
of
the
all,
world.
this world is not designed to make Scotty Scheffler happy. I know this comes as an extraordinary shock to him because he's a Christian and has a new baby. But the world is not designed with all the corners sanded beautifully to an agreeable sheen, just so he can be happy, so he can be
Well,
unbothered in his ability to go play golf and put a little ball in a little hole.
right. And listen, again, he may be the nicest guy in the world. He may be a wonderful human being who loves God, his country, his wife, his baby, and everything American. He probably eats apple pie for dinner, eats hot dogs on the weekend, and drives a friggin' Chevrolet.
I doubt it.
But it doesn't put you, if we're going to sit here and argue on CNN and all these different um, broadcast networks that the president or the ex-president is not above the law, then what puts Scotty Scheffler above the law? He's a freaking golfer.
These are guys who wear funny pants for a living, so
Hey,
that's a
I have a few pairs of those funny pants. Don't I have knickers. I look good in knickers, actually.
Did Scotty Scheffler tell you that?
No, I have knickers. I have a whole golf outfit in Mets colors: blue
Except,
pants, orange shirt, and blue cap.
are there alligators or palm trees on them in any
Nope,
place?
no. I bought them from. There's an online place called Golf Knickers, and I bought them from Golf Knickers. I actually have three pairs of knickers. I have a white pair, a blue pair, and a black pair.
Did they question you about your Christianity and your commitment to God or anything like
No,
that? Maybe a new
nobody asked
baby?
me anything. No, they no, send us $34.95, and we'll send you back a pair of short pants.
So nobody at CNN has a quick little apology to make on your behalf.
No, no, and I find it. And see, here's the thing. I just find it ludicrous. I find it absolutely bone jarring that here you are. CNN has the nerve to put anchors on the air, or have guests on the air that are justifying. And he's an anchor. He's a sports anchor at CNN, and they've already started the sell of that the cop was wrong. That Scotty Scheffler is a good guy.
Because Scotty Scheffler just won the Masters with 11 under, and so given that, there's no way in the world he could have committed a crime.
Right.
So we're just going to erase the idea in your mind, apologize for him on his behalf, return to the action, and commit offenses that in journalism are rights for dismissal.
Well, these are the dirty deals that are done when these cities want these tournaments, Michael. This is the kind of thing where somebody high up in Louisville probably said, "You let that guy go, or else the PGA will never come back here." The PGA, I mean, if it was a live golf event, they probably just would have taken him in a room and cut him up.
A bathtub is where they usually do the cutting. We
I
call it
think a dead
dismemberment.
tub is where they do the chainsawing. Um, isn't just regular cutting done on a table somewhere with a plastic sheet over it?
That's the way they do it at Satriales. Yes,
Yeah, yeah. Satriali's in leading Christopher to remark, "I don't think I'm going to be eating a sandwich from this place for a few months."
a few months. Well, Christopher, and you know that I mean this. You're a Christian. You're a good man. You have a new baby. We haven't seen Adrian for a while, so I know your loyalty to her is without question. We apologize on your behalf to all the police that you may have dragged down the road when you were given a direct order to stop.
Good God. I mean, again, I understand that people make mistakes. I understand that that you could be in a rush to get someplace, and I understand privilege. Understand what that entails. That you had, that there are times that people who are in certain positions get to go around the traffic, get to be shown away, get the escort, get whatever they want. God, I've gotten them in my life. You know, um,
So
so
Shohei Otani can take his Bentley and drag a LAPD officer down the road at a traffic stop, and his defense would be, "But I'm Christian. I have a new baby, and I'm loyal to my wife."
Well, see, that's the thing. You see, first of all, what religion you are have to do with anything? If you're a prick, you're a prick. Whether you're a Catholic, whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Jew, whether you're a Muslim, whether you don't believe in God, whether you're a Buddhist. If you're a prick, you're a prick. If you're dragging a cop down the road, you're a prick. I mean, I know that we at times on this show, but expose and look at the stuff that cops do sometimes, but that's not all cops, first of all. And second of all, this is a guy out at a fatal collision scene trying to do work in probably a horrible situation.
And he wasn't a rookie; he was a detective in full
Yeah,
uniform.
it seemed like he was an older guy. He's a guy that knows what he's doing. And here comes this guy who is, I don't even know how old Scotty Scheffler is. Probably I'm going to guess at 28 or 29.
The funny thing was, in the ESPN account of the event or the incident, an ESPN reporter was outside the gate, and Scotty Scheffler looked at him and said, "Can you help me?" And the ESPN reporter approached the scene as if to help him. And the cop said, "Stand back.
Yep.
Stand back, ESPN. You're going to start your apologies before we get this guy even booked. We're not even going to get his picture taken before you start apologizing for him on the network."
Yeah, he's going to jail. Nothing you can do about it is what I heard the
Right.
cops
He's
say.
going to jail, and that's where he went.
And that's where he went. Well, I don't know. He's issued an apology, ESPN is all over apologizing for him. CNN is apologizing for him. I don't know what Fox is doing for him yet. They're probably telling people that he's Biden's cousin or something like that. But
No, I don't think Fox would take an anti-golf position right now. I think they, and that's something that has to be examined here. Our portrayal of golfers, our portrayal of professional athletes. Now, if he had been a defensive back for the Kansas City Chiefs, was driving his Maserati at 115 miles an hour and caused a traffic accident, do you think anyone would be apologizing for him or defending him? If he was a black outfielder for the Giants, who had too many martinis and refused a breathalyzer test on the 280, who would be apologizing for him and telling me what a great Christian and father he is?
yeah,
If he was
yeah,
a boxer or a kickboxer or a Thai boxer who got too many bars, got into a bar fight in Milwaukee, who would be apologizing for him? If he was an
I don't
NBA
think
player,
anybody would be apologizing for him. Again, I will tell you that I think that if he had been an African American,
he'd still be in the slammer.
he'd still be in the slam. If he was Tiger Woods,
All the better. He's
he
Thai
would be.
and black.
He probably would have got locked up, and kept around. So here's a guy that assaults a cop, and he gets sprung out of jail,
No bail.
no bail, so that he can go to work on time,
And he makes it on time.
and he makes
He
it
makes
on
it
time,
makes it to work
and
on time.
all of the and then there was the CNN, the guy for CNN that was on before, that was doing the reporting, was saying, and golfers are coming up to him and slapping him on the back and showing their support for this young, good Christian man.
That's what I would expect from a golfer.
I listen. I'm not going to blame the game of golf for what happened.
I think you
Uh,
should. I think the game of golf
I think
deserves a level of blame.
we all need to look in the mirror and ask ourselves: is this where society is these days?
And keep in mind
That
that the traffic accident that he refused to wait in line for while they were doing their business was a fatality.
right?
A person who was going to go see Scottish Scheffler play was run down by a jitney bus. And he couldn't be bothered to wait in line for someone who was coming to see him play.
Well, because as we know from covering many of these athletes, and not all of them, but there are a sizable number of athletes who could give a crap less about you coming to the ballpark, to the golf course. And golf is such an individual, egotistical game that it's not hard to believe that I'll just let me run over this guy. He's not going to feel it. He's dead.
He's in my way. Well, we can all agree that he's in my way. He's impeding me getting to the country club on time. I've got to get to the country club. I'm not going to wait
He's
in
in my
line.
way. I'm Scotty Scheffler.
This cop means nothing to me. Get the hell out of the road. I'm coming
So
through.
we'll have you. We'll just have you hang on to the side of my car while I drive down to the road. So this way, people will know that I have a police escort. I'm sorry, it's not funny, but it is funny.
I would expect this type of behavior out of Marjorie Taylor Greene or any of the other supporters of Donald Trump in New York today. You know what the reaction would have been if they had taken their Lincoln Navigator and dragged an NYPD cop 10 feet down the road, 10 yards down the road?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm sure I'm sure that a New York City cop wouldn't have grabbed onto the car. I mean, New York City cops are famous for saying, "Okay, if I'm not going to get killed here if I can help it."
Not even a nightstick on the window.
Well, yeah, I mean, they might have done something like a nightstick on the window or something like that. And
But
if he was on Staten Island, they probably would have shot at him.
couple in
But
the air or right over his head.
I think if a couple of warning shots to the back of the car seat usually does the trick. Uh, so I don't know, Michael. I just I'm
This is
annoyed.
This is not just any golfer. This is the number one golfer in the world. He just won the Masters. He's playing in the championship game now. He is highly regarded as an extraordinarily talented man, but never described in those terms. Always described as a Christian father with a new baby. That is the description that everyone is. That's their fail-safe description. How could this guy do wrong?
Well, right, and I've heard that now on 3 news outlets this morning. The Christian, I mean, he's a Christian, like that should excuse him
From acting like one. I don't have
that
to act
that,
like a
that
Christian if
should
I have.
immediately say that. Say, I mean, I hope the cop isn't Jewish. They'll turn it into a war. I just it bothers me that people we're getting to a point in this country where we now use religion as a sign of whether somebody is good or not.
Purity, a purity test.
That if somebody's a Christian, they're okay, but if he was a Jew or if he was a Muslim or a Buddhist or whatever religion he was, agnostic, then I guess he wouldn't be as pure and clear and probably shouldn't get out of jail by
This is
tea time.
why. This is why, in no way whatsoever, do I identify myself with Christianity. This is why I have no truck with their game or their reputation or their representatives or their nonsense. This is what Christianity means in America today. I'm going to drive over the cops. I'm on my way to play golf. Get the hell out of the road.
Well,
Besides,
they certainly make it hard.
the reason that I'm not stopping is because I am a Christian and I'm loyal to my wife and I have a new baby. So get the fuck out of the road.
Yeah, yeah. It's well, it gives people who use their Christianity for good, who believe that their religious belief gives them a better life, and they don't use it to hide behind. They don't use it to say, "Well, I'm a Christian," or "I'm a Catholic," or "I'm a Baptist," or anything like that. So I'm better than everybody else.
Nobody's a Zoroastrian anymore. How come? What happened to the Zoroastrians?
Last Zoroastrian I knew was Bruce Clark from Sha Na Na.
See, there's not that many. Not that many. And did he ever play golf? And did he ever run over a cop?
I hadn't heard if he had or not.
Can you imagine pulling up into Louisville, Kentucky, and saying, "I'm in Sha-na-na and I'm not stopping for your traffic stop"? Who the hell are you? What do you mean? I'm in Sha-na-na.
The piss out of him is what they do. And not that I advocate that for Scotty Scheffler, but I'm just.
I think Scotty Scheffler needs a course correction.
Well, I think. I mean, I don't know what you do. To be honest with you, again, I'm willing to even go as far as saying somebody here, this guy, had a stupid moment, and he did something that can only be the move of an idiot. Good people do stupid things sometimes.
But usually they don't have a sports network apologize on their behalf to a national
Right.
audience in advance of the facts being known and the case being judged.
right. It should be that he issued an apology and it's a misunderstanding and it's okay. I'll buy that.
I won't buy a misunderstanding. How can you misunderstand
But,
that?
well, you know what? Let the person who hasn't made a mistake. People have made mistakes in their lives, but the idea that he gets a free pass, gets out of jail, will probably have the charges dropped later today, and has an entire sports world apologizing for him. That doesn't happen to everybody who makes a mistake.
And making statements, inaccurate as they may be, about his character and his motivation and why he's not guilty and why he should be respected and why his ability to golf trumps everything else that he's ever done in his life and why somehow him being a Christian covers all the bases and writes all the checks
Well,
and
see, that's the thing.
nullifies all the accusations.
That's the thing that sticks in my craw, Michael, is because he is a Christian. That he's a Christian, so we should feel bad for him. He's a Christian, so I don't care if he's a Christian. He dragged the cop. I'm sure the cop, when he was hanging on to the car for dear life, going 10 yards down the road,
I
didn't
sure hope
look in
this
the
guy.
car and say, "Oh, this guy's a Christian." Okay,
Well, he could be Christian. I sure hope he's Christian, and I hope he's
he
loyal to
doesn't
his
mean
wife.
this.
I hope he remembers his new baby before he gets to the corner and drags me a little further.
Yeah, he doesn't mean this. I mean, I hope he stops. He thinks of his Christianity before he hits the brakes and I fall under the wheels of the car, the courtesy car that he's driving, which, by the way, will be for sale at a local dealer after this weekend.
Just let me rinse off the passenger side. It's got a little schmear here.
Yeah, don't mind those scratches. Cops' badges do that at times when they
Could have
when
been
the
his
cops
belt
get
buckle.
dragged.
We'll have to go for the replay. And how can nobody have video of this? I'm sure when it comes up, we'll have a whole new set of pro-Christian apologies issued by ESPN when we finally see the video of the accident.
Well, again, Michael, it's there's so many different tentacles of it. There's the Christian component. There's the component that ESPN is apologizing for this guy before they even know the facts. There's the fact that not only is ESPN apologizing for him, but the media, in their frenzy to suck up to these guys, especially the golf media, which is which can be
without a soul.
Without a soul at times, yes, and will do anything because they want to get to they don't want their press credentials disapproved for the Masters, or they don't want their press credentials disapproved for the U.S. Open. They want to make sure that they get their credentials so that they can go and hobnob with these guys. It's why you have a sport that didn't allow women or black people to participate in it until 10 years ago. That never takes it on the chin.
When Tiger Woods stacked up his SUV, who apologized for him? Did anybody apologize
I don't think ESPN did.
For the way he was driving? That it couldn't have been his fault. There must have been something wrong with the car. It must have been something jumped out of the bushes and startled him.
As a matter of fact, if I remember right, Nike pulled their endorsements, didn't they?
I wouldn't doubt it.
I know that some of the endorsements, if they didn't pull them, they were certainly pulled back in some of the other endorsements. I mean, he lost a ton of money out of that deal.
Well, they thought he was finished. Hey, he's washed up now. He's had a terrible car accident. He's never going to come out of this and play competitively again. We can pull our support. Is he Christian? Does he have a new baby? Is he loyal to his wife?
No, and no. No, they definitely
They prejudged the situation.
Well, I think it's Listen, it's another sign that sports rules everything in this country. You know it. I know it. It's been that way for years. People who can play a competitive sport and be good at it are given privilege far beyond that of many other people. And this morning is just another incident that proves it.
Another embarrassing example.
Well, at least he's not P. Diddy.
P. Diddy's homes were all raided at once. That's my favorite part of that story.
Well, I don't know if you saw the tape that was released this morning from the hotel in L.A. of him beating up his girlfriend and kicking her while she's down on the floor, running through the hotel hallway with a towel on. He's pretty good at beating the piss out of somebody with one hand, I got to admit. It's not easy to hold a towel and knock somebody down.
Oh, he was wearing the towel.
He was wearing a towel, yes. Not easy to do that. So, um, yeah.
Has he been charged?
Well, no. This is happened a few years ago. Uh, his ex-girlfriend had sued him. I don't know if you remember this from 4 or 5, maybe more than that, maybe 10 years ago now.
Was
Where
the basis of the suit that his music was shit?
I don't know. Again, here we are idolizing people that aren't exactly the greatest people in the world. But he violently beats and kicks his girlfriend while she's on the ground. Now she sued him, and then they paid her off the next day. So she withdrew the suit in one day. But I guess they didn't get to her early enough or didn't sign an NDA because this tape got out, and it's sickening.
Who was responsible for videoing the incident?
And I guess it was on the security video of the hotel.
Yeah, it should have been.
Because everything is, listen, if you're in public these days, you're getting recorded.
Yep.
Nothing you do. For all of you guys who go into a parking lot and whip out your wiener and take a leak, it's all on tape. The plate number of your car, you taking the leak, the whole thing, it's all on tape. So what disturbs me about this, about the P. Diddy thing, is I look at this tape, and it's disgusting. Here's a guy who's kicking his girlfriend when she's down on the floor, covering up her head. Like it's happened before. Like she knows the drill.
She's familiar with a protected position.
Putting herself in the protective position. She's holding herself in that position. Where do you see it, man? It's so disturbing. It's so ugly that I don't know if I have anything that P. Diddy has anything to do with. But I wouldn't buy, I wouldn't listen, I wouldn't watch. I I I would piss on this guy. I don't care if he made the best. I don't care if he was Lawrence freaking Welk. I I just I
One
look
and a
at that
two and
and I wouldn't care who he was or what he did. And obviously this wasn't just one moment.
just another element of his day.
Yeah, this seemed like it was regular stuff for P
A busy day at P Diddy's
or
hotel.
Puff or whatever the hell he's calling himself this week. Absolutely sickening.
I'm glad that of all the things that I saw, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
I did see a little bit of the highlights of Marjorie Taylor Greene and all her supporters yelling in the capital of the United States, where even decorum now seems impossible to maintain.
Yeah. I mean, we're in a world gone crazy. We're in a world where class and dignity is out the door. And, you have Marjorie Taylor Greene, who yesterday uses our time, the taxpayers' time, to hurl insults at another congressperson. And then it turns into a three-way catfight with
And that passes for governance.
and then you got James Comer or Gomer there, who is familiar to all who like bad governing, sitting there saying, I don't know what you're saying. I got two hearing aids in. I can't understand a word you're saying.
It's a it's an embarrassment that these people were ever elected by anybody, that they represent anyone, that they have designed a reality in which they think that they're doing the right thing for the right people in the right way. That's how
Well,
far. That's how far we have fallen. That's how far afield we are right now.
I think people, in
Did anybody from ESPN apologize for Marjorie Taylor Greene? Are they apologizing for anyone who's colored outside the lines today?
I don't know. I haven't heard.
Telling me that they're rather certain that given her position as a Christian, she couldn't have done anything wrong.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. The people that elect her love this kind of stuff. The people that send her back to Congress time and time again love the fact that she gets into these battles. She goes
This is
back
their
and she raises money off it. She says, "Look at me.
meat and potatoes. Meat
I
and
can."
potatoes.
The other congresswoman that she was in the battle with, who she started, was Jasmine Crockett from Texas,
Right. I'm familiar with her.
and Jasmine Crockett called her a bleach blonde, bad built butch body.
Whoa. Well, I'm
Which
I'm
is hard to argue with.
it's impossible to argue with on the merits of the case. And you can't say that she's loyal to her husband, a Christian, and supporting her new baby. And she never
Yeah,
played
she
1100
strikes
at
out
the
in that whole.
Masters.
Well, the Christian thing she'll get because she takes tons of money from them, so they'll be happy with the Christian thing. But as far as
Dragging a cop. Has she dragged a cop 10 yards? Because you got to do that to prove your Christianity, your commitment to
she's
little
done.
baby
She did
Jesus.
worse actually. And I'll never forget this as long as I mean I will never respect her for anything because of the way she went up on that survivor from the school shooting, that
Right.
kid who she followed and harassed.
Down the halls of the Capitol.
No, she was outside the Capitol, Michael. She was outside. The guy was walking down the street, and she was behind him, and she was screaming at him. How do you justify that behavior?
Was
These
that the
people are
kid?
animals.
Was that the kid David Hogg?
Yeah.
Yeah, from the Florida shooting.
How do you justify that? How do you if you're a voter, how do you vote these people into Congress, into a position where you pay them to do this stuff?
Well, ESPN pays their anchors to apologize on behalf of athletes. Not all athletes, mind you. If you're a black outfielder for the Milwaukee Brewers, no apology shall be issued, unless, of course, you prepaid for your apology. ESPN does accept prepayment for apologies,
Well,
but you got to have the payment on file, and it has to be current. You can't just
look,
pay once.
look, it's not the first time that ESPN has monkeyed with the news because um, the first letter stands for what in ESPN?
Entertainment.
Thank you. I rest my case. I rest my case.
Yes.
And he'll tell you it's not news, it's entertainment.
Well, somebody this morning at the Columbia School of Journalism at Columbia University is going through the transcripts and saying, now this is how a damn fool represents himself live on the air. This is a violation of every tenet of journalism, of every tenet of due process. This is a violation of all the good judgment that the ESPN has ever exhibited on the air live from its anchors. And it is a violation of those rules, a violation of those standards, a violation of those tenets. And it's an embarrassment, and dismissals should be in the offing.
But I mean, do you really believe that the anchors at ESPN are journalists?
Do they? Well, what are they? Just entertainers?
I mean, you think for a minute that the people on Fox are entertainers, are journalists,
Well, I can't.
or the people on
I
CNN
can't.
for that matter.
I can't lump them in as journalists, but I can't give them the compliment of being an entertainer either. Because somewhere along the line, if you are an entertainer, you have to entertain, and that's beyond their abilities.
Well, they have an audience, though. I mean, again, it may not be your cup of tea for entertainment, but there's enough people that watch them
Well,
that
what is Stephen A. going to say about this?
I wonder if, well, again, he's not a journalist, he's an entertainer.
He's a spokesperson for CNN. He represents their brand and
No, ESPN, not CNN.
and their views. Correct.
Yeah, he
He's
I
paid to
mean,
keep the meter
I
moving.
don't know what he's going to say. I'll have to tune in to find out. And really, to be honest with you, I don't care what he's going to say. um, I stopped long ago. I really stopped paying a lot of attention to ESPN. Um, I think for the most part, I mean, I'll watch Monday Night Football because they have it. But I'm not a big fan of Scott Van Pelt.
Well,
I
Scott
think
Van
that's
Pelt was the co-anchor on this coverage from Louisville today.
yeah. So yeah, I think it's again, it's not you're not reporting all the facts. You're reporting your opinions,
Your
and that's
emotions.
Michael. That's why we got into sports. At least for me, it was a chance to voice your opinion on sporting events. I'm a journalist when it comes to cars. When it comes to sports, yeah, there's a new class of people that are somewhat journalists, but also somewhat entertainers. It's a hybrid of the two.
And that's why the discussion should be at the Columbia School of Journalism. Now, I would give you another example, but I can't think of another university that takes journalism seriously and understands what who, what, where, when, and how really
Well,
means.
Syracuse definitely, Northwestern. USC has a journalism school, or is it UCLA? I forget. I think USC has uh, a journalism school, but as a matter of fact, it's the one that most of the people at ESPN go to. Is it the Newhouse School of Media at Syracuse?
That's where they all come from.
That's where and again, but they people have grown up in this environment now where you don't have the
Laughing and scratching, Sir Plants, everything
well,
else.
you are beholden to the people who spend the money on the network. If you are if you are a rights holder for Major League Baseball, chances are in your career you're going to get told to squash the story. It's just that plain and simple. If you are part of a rights holder situation and you come upon a story that could be damaging to a franchise, chances are you're going to get told to squash that story or to present that story in a way that is less harmful
But this is the second time we've seen this. They apologized on behalf of Shohei Otani. He had no involvement whatsoever in his own interpreter
Well, are
stealing
they
$16 million.
now? Do they apologize in that case, or are they just reporting what some press release is telling them?
They covered for Otani and they demonized the interpreter.
Because you also have a situation where you have journalistic laziness, where people today consider journalism, get the press release, and rewrite it so it fits into a 20-second segment.
Where did you get your information? Well, that's what the team said.
Give me a little piece of sound, and I'm happy.
Dodgers said he wasn't involved. Oh, well, that's good enough for me.
It's why every sports league now has its own website. They have those websites so that they can spin the story the way they want to spin it. And they've paid enough money to credible news people, credible reporters, credible journalists, that those journalists now work for those different websites because journalism has dried up. I mean, you get a journalism degree today, you can pretty much wipe your butt with it.
I'm not going to pay a journalist and then have to pay somebody else to put it online. We'll just pay someone to put it online, and that's the end of it. We won't just look at the money we saved. No journalist.
Yeah, we'll send you a press release. We'll send you something. Just get this online.
ESPN's account of the incident in Louisville was more accurate online, and at least had comments from the police.
Well, they had a report there
that they did not share on the air with Scott Van Pelt and the other Christian apologists who actually went so far as to say that because Scotty Scheffler was a Christian and had a new baby and was loyal to his wife, that he was pretty certain that he couldn't have done anything wrong in a situation like this. A personal endorsement is what ESPN gave Scotty Scheffler before the facts were in, before the judge brought the gavel down, before his attorneys had to deal with the facts of the case, before anybody talked to the cop who got dragged. Where's that guy? How come we can't get a comment from him?
Well, I'm sure that some sergeant somewhere or somebody is keeping him under wraps too.
Chief of detectives wants to talk to you. What did I do? You held onto the guy's car. You knew that was wrong.
Yeah, you knew that was Scotty Scheffler. He should have let go of the car. What are you holding on to the cars for? Don't you understand? You either shoot him or you let him go.
You embarrassed us. You let the department down.
Louisville. What do you expect? It's the world. It's the world we live in, Michael. And as I've said to you many times before, we caught the best of it. I don't know which way this world is heading, but when we pay this much attention to the Marjorie Taylor Greens of the world and the P. Diddy's of the world, and the people who have privilege of the world, what do we have left? What chance is there for people who have class and have dignity and don't hurl insults at people?
Sorry, Ben, we have to interrupt. Scotty Scheffler's on 15, and he's got a long putt. We want to be able to catch this.
Yeah.
He was detained today, but he made it to work on time because that's his commitment to the game of golf. He got here on time, and he's playing a wonderful round. And his balls are smaller than everybody else's balls because as a Christian, he's committed to small balls.
Oh man. What are you? I don't know, Michael. I
want to see what the Daily Show does with this.
Yeah, I'm sure that there are that their writers are in the writers' room right now, just putting it all together. This will be good on late night television too. Although, sadly, I think the late night shows all tape 2 shows on Thursday.
Uh-oh.
So there might not be um, much about it, but I think the Daily Show tapes on Friday. So
Well, I hate to see golf get a black eye. It's been such a wonderful institution over the years.
well, listen, people love the sport, love to go out and play it. I like to go out and play it. I don't play it well, but any sport that I can dress up like the Young Rascals circa 1965 is a good sport.
Anytime I can look like Gene Cornish and play golf, I'm
If
in.
I can wear an Eddie Brigati shirt and knickers, I'm in.
What was the name of the
Uh-oh.
club in Long Island where they played? They were like the house band there when they were
Action
the, the,
House.
the Action House.
The Action House was one of them. I don't know if they played at Hammerheads. Hammerheads might have been after their time. But the Action House and the Barge, I think, was the other one.
I think that's the one I was thinking of, the Barge, where Sid Bernstein found him, took him under his wing. You gotta run. You gotta hide.
Greatest sounding group. I mean, they held their own for years against the Beatles.
Hit after
You know,
hit. It's a beautiful morning.
yeah. I mean, their sound.
People got to be free.
There were people who didn't believe that they were white.
Well, Felix Cavaliere had one of the great soul voices of all time. All time.
Yeah, it's a shame they can't get along, man. Their uh, their revival many years ago was
Was a failure.
well, it wasn't. It wasn't. I mean, they did a Broadway play. I mean, I don't think their revival had that long of a life to it, to be honest with you. People just don't remember them in the same way or treat them in the same way that some of the other bands get treated. Now, that also could be partially because there's so much infighting that goes on between everybody that's associated with that band that it caused people like Dino Danelli not to want to be around him. Said,
Great drummer. Great drummer.
Dino, I don't need this. I got money. I got a place to live.
The Cavalieres and the Brigatis. That was
Yeah, you guys
the
fight
base
it
of
out and
bases.
call me.
But we're gonna fight it out, but we're not gonna call you because no one can agree on what to say.
Well, and it was a shame. At least at least they put their problems aside for a couple of years so they could do a comeback and do their Broadway show. And I think that was mostly on the back of Little Steven,
He sort of
who
paved the way.
who finds these groups and takes them and gets them to all sit down and forget the grievances in the past. But as anybody who's grown up in an Italian family knows,
It ain't gonna last.
grievances don't die easy, and even when they do die, they have an uneasy death.
And they'll come
And
back. They'll come back to haunt you.
there's always an aunt who wants to keep things alive. There's always one relative who says, "Why you give in to that son of a bitch?"
You know he hates you. Why you give him money?
Why you let Eddie get a 5 cents some more on that check than on the other check?
Those Brigati brothers.
He got a hotel room 1 floor above you.
You were supposed to be the lead singer. Yeah, but they had Felix. But you were supposed to be the lead singer. You had the two tambourines. You're supposed to stand in front. Now look at you. They make you look like an idiot. You're a guy with two tambourines standing there doing nothing.
Well, he sing a song, I sing a song. He sing a song, I sing a song. And then every once in a while, Gene, he sing a song.
Did he pay you or
He's the
not?
guy
Did he
that
pay
should be
you?
complaining.
Yeah. Yeah, poor Gene and Dino had to wait. Had to wait in the wings while the dust was settling.
Well, to Dino's credit, man, he was just, Dino had so much stuff going for him. I mean, he had, his drumming was like, I mean, he was a pretty good artist.
He was a showman.
The drumming was like a, oh yeah, I'll do this. I can pick up some money drumming with these guys, and it turned into
Right.
something.
Right.
But his thing was being a painter. He was a true Renaissance guy, and one of the best drummers you'll ever hear.
Did he ever do a cover for the band?
I don't think so. Thinking, well, it would have been Groovin' or Freedom Sweet. No, Freedom Sweet. No, I don't think he did. I don't know who did the cover art for Groovin'.
Loring Unumley from Atlantic Records.
Who did it?
Loring Udemy.
Oh, that was. And then most of the others, I think, had until you got to like things like Freedom Sweet, and I forget what was after that. What was the name of that album? Jeez, I'm getting so old, I forget these half of these things. But yeah, I don't think there was. I don't think he did a cover art for any of them. What's on your baseball schedule this weekend?
Well, the Giants have Colorado, so there's a chance that we're going to have some victories to talk about. Although we have this week, we put 7 players on the IR, including our entire catching staff. We signed a guy named Kurt Casale that hasn't played for the team since 2022, and he's back being the starting catcher because right now everybody we know and everybody they know and their mother and their father and Kurt Cousins and the cop that he dragged down the street are all on the IR.
Yeah, he was up here for a while, Casale.
We traded him to Seattle.
Who did we get for him?
Bucket of balls, some bats, some
Was he
mitts.
part of the Robbie Ray deal? No, he was before the
No,
Robbie Ray deal.
he was before that, and he didn't last. Since then, he's played for the Reds, the Blue Jays.
Oh, I think we got him from the Reds. Yeah, I think he
But
was
now,
part.
now he's back being a Giant. He's catching every day. He went from parking cars to catching every day because that's just the way our team is set up right now. If you know anybody on our team, he's hurt.
Well, they
White
beat the
Wilhelm.
Dodgers last night, didn't they?
They beat the Dodgers 1 game, first game they played. And they didn't play last night, so today we start a series against Colorado. And they stink, but they've won 7 in a row, so who knows?
Who Colorado? Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, Colorado's one of those teams that stink until you play them.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like having Pittsburgh come into town. They play you a doubleheader and they beat you both games. How the hell did that happen? It's the Pirates. I know, but they showed up. They were in a mood and nothing we could do.
Yeah, they stink until you play them. Now, the Mariners are in Baltimore, which is always one of my favorite places to go. We've been there together a couple of times. Always a great Always a great town to go in.
And they got a great team.
Yeah, yeah, they have an excellent team, and they treat people nice. You know, you get a good crab cake there. You can get barbecue there.
Gene Cornish.
As
Oh,
a matter of fact,
they're always very nice to Dino Danelli and Gene Cornish when they come to town.
well, I
Not so
always have
much.
a
Not,
Cornish hen for them. Uh,
uh,
thanks. I'll be here all week. Um, Also, I think next to Chicago, the best press lunch or dinner in Major League Baseball.
the Orioles.
The Orioles, yeah, yeah, they really had. I remember they had a great, because they had number one is the Pirates. Pirates. There's no team that puts out a better spread than the Pirates. Uh, Number two, I think, is Chicago,
Cubs or White Sox.
White Sox, and then I think number three is Baltimore.
And do they have crab cakes in Baltimore?
Yes, they have crab cakes in Baltimore.
Well,
So
that's what
you
I'm
can go get
having.
a crab cake sandwich
Oh man.
in the press dining room for, I don't know what it is now. Back then it was, I think, $9 or $8, something like that. You
And
get yourself
what
a
sort
little.
of bread is the crab cake sandwich on?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it was Italian bread.
Could be worse.
So yeah, I know it was a good. It was. You looked forward to going to the ballpark to eat. In those places. I mean, the places
What do
you
they
didn't.
feel the What do they feel the golfers before the game in Louisville? Do you think? What do they?
In jail, a bologna sandwich for breakfast. Isn't that what they give you?
With mayo or mustard or
When I
without?
was when I was a young man, that's what you used to get in the if you were in the holding cell in a precinct, and it became breakfast time. They used to shove a stale breaded bologna sandwich through the that was made probably 2 weeks before, and if you want to taste the moldy white bread,
by an old fishwife.
it was it had crabs, but it
But not
wasn't in the
it was
form
not
of
it
a
was
cake.
it's not from Baltimore. These crabs have never been to Baltimore.
Nothing you wanted to get.
Did anybody from ESPN apologize for the way they served that bologna sandwich?
No, I don't think so.
And based on their Christian beliefs that they probably had done nothing wrong.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Well, the um the beautiful Mets are in Miami, which is it's always a beautiful time to go to Miami this time of year.
I'll go.
Well, this is when it starts getting hot, right? This is like the end of May.
This is where you stop saying it's early.
Memorial Day weekend. I say July 4th is when you stop because you still have June coming up, and you have the June swoon.
You don't have it. The Giants have it. They invented the damn June swoon. And it always happens in June, so they never have to change the name.
But didn't they have a good June last year or 2 years ago?
Well, they made up for it in September.
Yeah, well, that's what the Mariners do too. I mean, that's the unbelievable.
By the way, I praised everything about the Denver Nuggets who went out last night and lost by 30. Good show. Good show, boys.
Well, there
If
you
you if
go.
you if you if you had
Your
only been Christian, I'd apologize for you.
your record in picking them is intact. All right, we got drive time tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. We will Kirby Arnold, my good friend Kirby Arnold, is going to join us from Indianapolis as they get ready to run the Indianapolis 500. in
Are those Christian drivers, and are they dragging the police with them as they go around the
well, I
the
know they're
track?
not dragging any police with them when they go around the track at 230 miles an hour. But we'll get the setup from Kirby about Indianapolis and what's going on there. We'll also talk to him about Kirby bought a Cybertruck.
Is that the Tesla squared away urinal?
The angular Tesla.
The ones
So I'm
you can't
anxious
wash.
to talk to him about his truck as well.
Warn him about washing it. Tell him under no circumstances should he clean that Tesla. It voids the guarantee.
I don't know, man. It certainly is you don't get to drive anywhere without having to talk to people. You better have. It's one of those cars where if you have one, you have to leave yourself extra time when you go somewhere.
So you
Because
get out of the Tesla.
Time explaining it to people.
You get out of the Tesla and say, "I got nothing to say to anybody except Scotty Scheffler. I want to talk to him. Everybody else, get away from me."
Oh man, yeah. I'm sorry if you're lying in the roadway.
I couldn't be more sorry. As a Christian, I'm totally sorry.
You're dead, so just let me roll over you so I can get to my tea time.
Gotta go. Gotta get to work. Gotta go.
I mean, what pickup truck driving guy can't empathize with that? I'm late for my tea time. You're dead. Can I just roll over you and get going?
I didn't know. How could I know? How would I know? I felt a bump and I just kept going.
You're upsetting my pre-round routine.
I got to work on my short game. Your death means nothing to me.
Well, if you're going to lie there, would you open your mouth so I can practice hitting a couple of balls into it?
It's an eagle. Have a good show tomorrow, Vin.
All right, Mikey. We will catch up with you on Monday if the Lord's will and the creek don't rise.
And if the creek does rise, I know a guy with a Louisville Police Department. We can get that fixed.
All right, well, we'll give him a call and tell him to be on standby. Oh, one more thing before I go. I got to wish happy birthday to my ex-girlfriend from many, many years ago, Kathy Heaney. It's her, I'm not going to say what number it is, but it's her birthday today, and I wish her happy birthday on every one of her birthdays, and I never forget her birthdays. And today is that day, so happy birthday, Kathy.
Happy birthday, Kathy.
All right, man. See you on Monday. Peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby.
What a Christian wine.
See you, Michael. Oh, Lordy.